With Cour 4 of the 1000-Year Blood War arc anime now on the horizon, there's no shortage of speculation about what we can expect from the final season of Bleach. We already know that there's going to be a huge amount of anime original content. Kubo's been teasing that we're going to get anime extended sequences, new battles, and never before seen material for a while now. But there's one teaser in particular that's been generating more conversation than almost anything else, and this is the claim from Kubo himself that a brand new character is going to appear in the final core of the anime. This is a character who was never in the original manga supposedly, and a lot of people have been asking who on earth this character could be. In this video, I want to go through every plausible candidate and break down whether if any of these theories actually hold up when you look at the evidence. But you know, there are a few mysterious characters in Bleach whose identity will never be revealed. These are the individuals who are subscribed to the channel. Only 20% of the people who watch these videos are subscribed, so if you enjoy this content and you want to see more Bleach breakdowns, then hit the notification and subscribe button for even more content just like this. Before theorizing, we need to establish exactly what Kubo has said, because the wording here has been translated in multiple different ways, and sometimes the nuances do change when you're translating from Japanese to English. On the 31st of May 2025, within the Cour 3 Blu-ray interview, Kubo made his closing remarks. He stated that in Cour 4, that character will finally appear, and he ended by saying that he believes their arrival will be the biggest surprise in all of Bleach. Now, the original Japanese is worth looking at. The sentence reads roughly as, in Cour 4, that character will ... and then it just trails off. There's no verb. In Japanese, that long trailing pause is a deliberate suspense technique where Kubo leaves the sentence incomplete so that your brain fills in the rest. The natural implication is will appear or will finally make their move, but the ambiguity of the entire sentence from Kubo is intentional. Then on the 17th of February 2026, Kubo tightened this further on his fan club Club Outside. He said that for the final season, he had only done a very small amount of character designing, and then he added that this character did not appear in the original work at all. There was a bit more clarification on the exact translation. Kubo specifically uses the word Saishuwa, which means final episode, not final season. Kubo clarifies that this character does not appear in the original manga, so it raises questions about whether if this is a new original character or a tease for a character we've already seen before who wasn't present within the epilogue of Bleach. This is important because we're going from talking about a character who could possibly appear across 13 episodes to a character who's just gonna appear at the very last episode. Typically within storytelling, you don't save a character for the closing minutes of the entire anime unless they carry some serious weight. I think that the decision for Kubo and the anime staff to place a mysterious character at the end tells us that we're looking at a named, designed character who serves an actual narrative function. Additionally, the character designer Masashi Kudo said at Anime Expo that there would be new characters in Cour 4, and he said he couldn't wait for fans to see them. And separately, Kubo confirmed on Club Outside that voice auditions for Kazui Kurosaki are already underway, which all but confirms that we're getting the epilogue animated at the end of Cour 4. The reason a completely new character is even feasible comes down to how much source material Cour 4 has to work with. When you look at the previous Cours and how they've adapted the manga content, you'll see that Cour 1 adapted roughly 62 chapters. Cour 2 did even more at about 67.5 manga chapters, and Cour 3 covered around 52 chapters of manga content. Now, this only leaves 25.5 chapters worth of manga content left to adapt in Cour 4, and this is going to be spread across its 13 episode run. This is less than half of any of the previous Cour's source material, so over 54% of the final season is going to consist of content that has never existed in any form before. Kubo himself said on a live stream that fans will watch entire episodes and go, "I've never seen any of this before." Now, what reinforces this even further is that on Club Outside, Kubo posted a recording session image which confirmed that episode 46, which is only the 6th episode of Cour 4, is already adapting content from chapter 679. If the anime is reaching 679 by episode 6, and if they're not chopping and changing things around, if it's being adapted in a linear manner, then it means that the remaining 7 episodes of Cour 4 have roughly 7 chapters of manga content left to adapt. This is a huge amount of space for anime original content. I personally think that they're going to be chopping and changing things around. Fights will be occurring in a different sequence in comparison to how they happened within the manga. We saw this with Cour 2 and Cour 3 as fights were chopped and changed around. And overall, the order of events within the anime has been very loose. They've not stuck exactly to how things have occurred within the manga. Additionally, Kubo stated that his supervision work for Cour 4 alone equals everything that he has done for Cours 1 through 3 combined. On the 4th of December 2024, he showed the anime staff new storyboards which were drawn specifically for Cour 4, and the production team reportedly screamed after seeing them. He described these storyboards as being insanely difficult to animate, and he said that he was praying for the animators. The anime has already set a precedent for creating anime original characters, like Nikita Deslok, an anime original Sternritter, who appeared during a flashback scene as she was a part of Yhwach's original Empire of Light. She never appeared in the manga. The original Gotei 13 were fully designed and named for that appearance in episode 7, even though they barely existed as a single panel in the manga. Senjumaru received an entirely anime-exclusive Bankai reveal, and Shinji's Bankai, which originated from the Can't For Your Own World light novels, was adapted into Cour 3 as an anime original scene. If the anime production team is comfortable building new characters and abilities from the ground up, then whoever this mysterious character is, they could be someone none of us would have predicted. Let's first talk about the most popular theory within the Bleach fandom. The name that everybody immediately jumped to is that this mysterious character has to be Tokinada Sunayashiro from the Can't For Your Own World light novels. I understand why, because narratively this would set up a direct bridge between the 1000-Year Blood War arc and the next story that Bleach could tell. For those who haven't read Can't For Your Own World, Tokinada is the head of the Sunayashiro clan, one of the great noble families of the Soul Society. He wields a Zanpakuto called Enra Kyoten, which has the ability to replicate other Zanpakuto abilities, but it comes at the cost of consuming the wielder's own life force with every use. Previous heads of the family refused to touch this Zanpakuto. Tokinada didn't care on the other hand. What makes him stand out as a villain is that he isn't driven by some grand philosophy or a tragic backstory. Hisagi clocks this almost immediately when he meets him. Where Aizen had ambition and Yhwach had an ideology, Tokinada has nothing behind his eyes except the desire to watch people suffer for his own personal enjoyment. He openly says this: the world should revolve around whatever entertains him. What's critical for this theory that Tokinada is the mysterious character is that he was active during the 1000-Year Blood War arc. While the Quincy's were tearing the Serite apart, he used the chaos as cover to infiltrate Nimaya's palace Hoden, and he stole a sword. He had his accomplice Ora Michibane, a powerful Fullbringer, build a vessel to serve as a new Soul King. This was a child called Hikone. They were assembled from the remains of Shinigami, Quincy's, and humans gathered from the battlefields. His end goal was to expose what he saw as the Soul Society's founding crime, that the 5 great noble families were originally 5 traitors who sacrificed the primordial protector of the world in order to create the 3 realms. The dream scenario for some would be that Cour 4 slips in a brief scene of Tokinada operating in the shadows during the final stretch of the 1000-Year Blood War, perhaps stealing the sword or observing the chaos from the sidelines. You could even have Aura appear in that moment alongside him. The credits roll on the final episode, and the audience is left with a thread pointing directly towards a Can't For Your Own World anime adaptation. The problem is the timeline. Can't For Your Own World is set approximately 6 months after Yhwach's defeat. The epilogue of Bleach, which will be adapted in Cour 4, which is chapters 685 and 686, while this takes place 10 years after the war. Tokinada's story would already be over within Can't For Your Own World well before the 10-year mark, so if the final episode of the anime covers the epilogue and we're expecting it to, then Tokinada would already be irrelevant by the time we reach that final frame of the anime. The only way that this works is if his scene is placed before the time skip kicks in. If Tokinada appears doing something menacingly and then we immediately cut to everyone living peacefully 10 years later, then it risks making Can't For Your Own World feel narratively inconsequential before it's even been adapted. Some people think that the mysterious character is going to be tied to the No Breathes From Hell one-shot chapter. This one-shot chapter is set 12 years after Yhwach's defeat, and it takes place during a funeral ceremony for Ukitake, and it reveals something unsettling about the Soul Society. Once a Shinigami Shinigami reaches captain level of power, their reishi is too dense to break down naturally when they die. The real function of the funeral ceremony is in fact to send those souls into hell. On top of this, the spiritual pressure from both Aizen and Yhwach that had essentially been keeping hell sealed has now vanished, and with enough powerful souls accumulating in hell, with Yamamoto, Unohana and Ukitake recently having been sent there, the gates of hell can be forced open from the inside. The one-shot chapter ends with Kazui grinning as we see a skeleton that looks down at him with a single eye from the gates of hell. There's also the matter of the fifth noble clan, which remains unnamed in the manga. Fans have speculated that this family could be tied to being wardens of hell. If the anime's final episode wants to tease the next major threat, they could introduce the head of this unknown clan and how this clan is linked to the realm of hell. I don't know how confident I am in believing that the anime staff are going to be continuing story beats from the Hell Arc one-shot, which Kubo hasn't even written more of since 2021. I feel like a lot of the things linking to Hell would be stuff that Kubo would initially want to draw himself. The most you can expect from Hell Arc teasers would be a shadow outline or even a voice, not a fully realized character design debuting within the anime ahead of the manga. Kubo said that this character didn't appear in the original work. The Hell one-shot is still his original work, so characters from it would technically count as having already appeared. There's also another possibility which I think is very likely, and it connects to stuff that we've seen all the way back to the first core of the anime. Over the 3 cores, the anime has been doing something that the manga never really did. It's humanized the Soul King by giving us glimpses into his past. Back in episode 14, the anime introduced an anime original scene of a woman holding an infant Yhwach, something that the manga never really touched upon. The single edition opens up an entire new dimension to Yhwach's origins that the manga left open. The anime revealed to us the true name of the Soul King, which is Adonais. If Core 4 commits to a proper flashback of the primordial era, we could see Yhwach's mother as a fully named and designed character, or we could see Adonais himself as a living being rather than as a mutilated figure trapped in a crystal that is maintaining the 3 realms. Can't Fear Your Own World eventually reveals via Tokinada's own taunting that reality was forged by the 5 great noble families who sacrificed the Soul King. The anime seems to be handling this Soul King history in its own way, and given how willing Kubo has been to create fully realized characters for the anime that the manga has only hinted at, I wouldn't be surprised if he's gone all out and he's going to include the entire Soul King backstory within Core 4, with designs of the ancestors of the 5 great noble families with names too. Some fans have also floated around the idea of Soya Azashiro, the 8th Kinpachi from the Spirits Are Forever With You light novel, being the mysterious character. Azashiro is currently imprisoned within Muken alongside Aizen, and the two actually have a brief interaction within the light novel. The novel itself is set during the 17-month gap between the defeat of Aizen and the Fullbring arc, so Azashiro's storyline is long past by the time of the Blood War. Now, while including Azashiro is a cool piece of lore, but the problem is that his appearance would only resonate with a small section of the fanbase who are aware of who he even is. Anime-only viewers would have zero context for who Azashiro is, and unlike Tokinada, whose story connects forward to new material, Azashiro's storyline doesn't lead anywhere beyond its own light novel. Placing him in the final episode of the 1000-Year Blood War arc would feel like a bit of a footnote rather than a surprise. And I think this goes against the teasers that Kubo has been giving us before the release of Core 4. Now, there's also a possibility that this could genuinely be an all-new character that we've not seen in any other piece of Bleach media. This is a character that Kubo has designed specifically for Core 4. I mean, there are so many possible candidates that fans have thrown around. Some people have been speculating that we could see a child of Uryu or even Chad, or a rival to Kazui within the epilogue, which would somehow be able to expand upon the next generation roster of Bleach characters. Then there's also the Burn the Witch crossover too, which I do think is plausible since Kubo's confirmed that both Bleach and Burn the Witch occur within the same universe. Some people also think that we could see Zanpakuto spirits, as Kyoka Suigetsu could manifest during Aizen's time within Muken, or a new form of Ichigo's Zangetsu appearing within Ichigo's inner world during his final Bankai. Or we could finally see the fan favorite Don Kanonji unlock an all new god form, as I know that a lot of people do want this character to appear in the 1000-Year Blood War arc anime. I think a mysterious new character appearing towards the end of Cour 4, with Kubo specifically saying the final episode is going to have to point towards the future direction of the story. Whether if this is the Hell arc or a Can't Feel Your Own World anime adaptation is something that you have to consider. Or it could be an all new direction that Kubo and the anime staff are pointing towards that we don't even know about. If you want my opinion on the matter, I think that this mysterious new character is going to be tied to the origins of the Soul King. This could be Yubak's mother or one of the 5 great noble family ancestors. Or alternatively, it's a totally original character that Kubo has designed specifically for the anime that we've never seen before. It's not just it's a old character he has that didn't appear within this section of the manga. I think it's someone totally new. The fact that he's hyping this up as the biggest surprise in Bleach tells me that it's a name and a face that none of us are going to predict. And honestly, a part of me is completely fine with that. We have now reached the point of the video where I want to hand over the discussion to all of you. What do you think this new mysterious character is? Do you think it's going to be Tokinada setting up Can't Feel Your Own World? Do you think it's a character from the backstory of the Soul King? Do you think it's a teaser for the Hell arc and for more future content? Will it be someone from Burn the Witch? Or is it someone that we've never seen before? Do let me know your thoughts by continuing the discussion in the comments. And lastly, thanks for making it to the end of this one, and I look forward to seeing you in my next Bleach video.
A massive thank you goes out to all of my amazing Patreon supporters for helping to make this video possible. If you also want to support the channel and see your name in the end of my videos, then check out my Patreon, which has loads of perks like early video access and so much more. Thank you for sticking around till the end of the video, and whatever you contribute will mean a lot to me.